currencies that everyone's being robbed by constantly always have value. These are things that have durability, but games, people will always get bored of. They will always get bored of them. And so
Leave my Sonic the Hedgehog and Mortal Kombat alone.
I love Mortal Kombat, but I have to tell you, I haven't played it in probably 15 or 20 years. At least my favorite one, the first one.
You should. Who's your favorite character?
I would play a lot of Sub-Zero because you could get people in a pretty good loop with it. But Johnny Cage punching people in the balls over and over again was pretty great too.
Sub-Zero, I'm very attracted to Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
They have a very similar mask. I like their mask a lot. I actually have a face mask that's very similar to that for just like getting into places in lockdown. It's nice. It's a Balmain face mask that looks so awesome. It looks like the Sub-Zero one, but it's got Balmain monogram on it.
Okay. All right, let's get started with some of why the people are here. So sure. Just really quickly, tell everybody in like 2 minutes, tell everybody what Hex is.
Sure.
Because there's a big issue. People call Hex a scam. Personally, you guys, I don't care what you invest in. If you guys want to invest in Hex, great. If you want to invest in coin XB123, I don't care. I support everybody's right to choose to invest their money wherever they want to put it. I don't care. I am just here chatting with somebody about their particular project because this is how I learn the best. And if I have an opportunity to sit down with somebody and learn, why wouldn't I?
So Hex, quite simply, is Bitcoin with a proof of work change. So Bitcoin pays you to destroy the environment. It only rewards you for doing SHA-256 mining, which is extremely energy intensive on purpose. Instead of calling it proof of work, you could call it proof of waste, because if it wasn't wasteful and it was useful, then you could like reduce the cost of an attack by selling the utility. But since it's totally wasteful, you can't sell the utility, so it makes the attacks more expensive. I'm not going to go into the game theory of it, but like that's why you see a lot more attacks with botnets, because there's side utility to having CPUs, and then you can just rotate what you attack because you already have a botnet you can make money with in normal life. But with SHA-256 mining, you can't do anything else with your SHA-256 miners. So if you're going to buy them, they can only be used for Bitcoin. And then since you've invested so much in the hardware, why destroy the network, which is the only thing that gives those things utility, which is why you don't see 51% attacks in Bitcoin anyway. So I guess I did go into it. So with Hex, we just replaced paying people to destroy the environment. So Bitcoin pays you inflation. People think Bitcoin's deflationary. It's not. It inflates. That's how it went from no coins in 2009. There were 0 coins, and now there's 19 million coins. That's how it happened, by inflating it. I've inflated it myself, full blocks on my own, no pool. 50 Bitcoin block rewards at the time. So in Hex, we reward people to store energy in the system, which causes positive price pressure. So in Bitcoin, miners are paid to dump the price to enrich mining hardware companies and electricity companies. And it's how the security model works. They don't have a choice. In Hex, we piggybacked an existing network already eating that horror, which is the Ethereum network. They already get their price dumped by miners the same way Bitcoin miners do. They already harm the environment just like Bitcoin miners do. But since they were already doing all that, we can pack our transactions on top of the Ethereum network for what used to be pennies and get all of the same protection against 51% attacks and things. And get interoperability with online exchanges or on-chain exchanges, and just all types of great stuff came with it. And we don't have the negative price pressure of having to sell down the price constantly to pay for electricity. And
is that because it's locked up?
No, it's just because we don't have miners. There's no miners to pay. And so we don't have to pay for network security because Ethereum's already paying for it. So the Ethereum network's already secure. It's free for us to piggyback on top of it. We don't have to pay our own block rewards. So instead of having that negative externality of environmental destruction and enriching weird companies in the middle of nowhere that you've never heard of before, like Bitmain, we just pay that inflation directly to stakers and enrich those guys. And because there's no negative externalities, the inflation in our system, which is lower than Bitcoin's ever was when it went up to 20K. So when Bitcoin's at 20K, the first time the inflation rate was 3.89%. It used to be many folds higher because it had already cut in half twice. So in our system, we start at 3.69%, and you only get paid at the end of your stake. And since the average stake is 6.5 years long, this inflation is extremely delayed in the future, extremely low. And since there's no negative externalities, you see people just restaking it. I mean, the amount of people that just have $100 million and just restake it is very high. So people treat it like a real store of value. They peel off what they want to be rich, and then they just keep getting richer. And that's where they're storing their energy. At least that's what it looks like. So it's just Bitcoin with a proof of work change. Instead of using Bitcoin miners, we use Ethereum miners. And instead of inflating to destroy the environment, we inflate to protect the price by rewarding people that delay gratification longer. That's it.
Isn't that system kind of like, wouldn't somebody call that a Ponzi?
Well, they would call everything a Ponzi, but they're inaccurate, right? So like human life is a Ponzi. When you get old and you can't take care of yourself anymore, you have offspring that's going to take care of you. Well, what if you don't have anyone to take care of you? Okay. The stock market only goes up if the next guy buys. The value.
Well, we all know that the stock market is a regulated Ponzi, 100%.
Well, it's like everything. This concept that the price of stuff goes up when people buy it is like, yes, that's how supply and demand works. Yes.
Correct.
And then if people stop having demand, the price goes to zero. Like 8-track tapes, they're not worth anything now, you know. And so this idea, the thing that people have to understand is that creating things that appreciate in value is the core of what business is. Business, by definition, is creating a system to accrue value for shareholders. Period. And a well-designed cryptocurrency is a system which accrues value for the people that own parts of it. They're very similar in that way. There's just decentralization. So the Howey test controls what is and isn't a security, and it states quite simply that a security is when people put money into a common pool with the expectation of profit solely from the work of others. And so as a Bitcoin miner, who's giving you your Bitcoin? You're giving them to yourself. You are creating them yourself out of thin air. The fruit of your own labor is creating Bitcoin out of thin air, which is why Bitcoin is not a security. Okay, in Hex, who gives you your Hex? You give you your Hex. Does anyone else give you your Hex? Nope. You're the only person in the entire world that can mint your Hex, just like a Bitcoin miner. Except instead of destroying the environment, you're locking up your coins.
I disagree with that because I think first off, I think the Howey test is stupid and I think it's outdated because we're talking about something that is a little bit, we're talking about laws from 1933 or 1930s where we didn't have fax machines, computers, and all of that type of stuff.
I don't think we have fax machines anymore either.
Well,
we're old.
In healthcare, you have to use
I know.
them.
Yeah, I know. Some lawyer crap too, but sure. Most people don't. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that we're talking about Bitcoin, like we're talking about Bitcoin miners. They're looking to make a profit because they're essentially facilitating that transaction for somebody that wants to send it. And kind of the same with Hex, but a little bit differently from the way that you explain it, is that you're locking it up. And if you want to pull some out when that period ends.
But you don't have to lock it. The price went up 1,000,000% without locking it. Did you need to lock it? The price went up 1,000,000%.
I thought you did have to lock it.
No. The vast majority of coins are not locked, which is why the payouts for locking are so high. Only 10% of coins are locked, which is why you can get, or currently the stakers are making an average of around 40%. Now, as a new guy coming in, you're going to get less because they got better share prices because the share price only goes up over time to simulate compounding interest. Up over time in Hex terms. It moves around based on the USD price. So when the price of something goes up 1,000,000%, do you really care about your extra 40%? It's nice. It's awesome, but you don't need it. It's the minority of the gains. So basically, if you took Bitcoin Network and replaced the Bitcoin miners with Ethereum miners and then told them instead of doing SHA-256, you're going to lock up coins to get inflation, that's it. That's all. That's it. It's a proof of work change. We use proof of weight instead of proof of work.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Now, let's talk about Pulsechain. What the hell is Pulsechain?
That's awesome.
Actually, I want to know what is Pulsechain, and then I want to know why you have Hex and now there's Pulsechain.
Sure.
Is there a need for two projects?
Oh God, yes. They all amplify each other. Every one of my projects amplifies the other projects.
Educate me, enlighten me.
Sure. So do you wish gas fees on Ethereum were cheaper?
Yes. That's why I use layer 2 solutions at times.
There you go. So the only way to reduce the price of a thing is to increase its supply or reduce its demand. That's it. Period. Finito. Well, Ethereum has been talking about increasing their supply for a really long time. With sharding, it's about 8 years late or 6 years late, or some number of very years late. So they're going to do ETH 2.0. You want to know a funny secret people don't know about ETH 2.0?
I think that ETH 2.0 is one of the biggest jokes in the space because they keep moving the date. I get that technology takes a while to perfect, but at the same time, it's like you've got so much effing money that you've raised from the sale or whatever the heck you were doing. Why are we taking so long to do this?
Well, it's a tragedy. Well, so basically...
Tell me the secret.
Well, the secret is that Ethereum 2.0, this merge that they say is going to be occurring, doesn't increase the capacity of the network at all, and therefore doesn't give you cheaper transactions at all. So eventually, one day, maybe they hope to get sharding into Ethereum 2.0, and then maybe that day, maybe if it ever happens, you might get cheaper gas fees. And so what I'm doing is I'm adding capacity now so that gas fees can come down now. So Pulsechain is so awesome. It's so miraculous.
Is it your baby?
It is just a miracle that someone didn't already do it. It's a miracle that someone left this opportunity for me to do. So we've got people, somebody just minted NFTs like last week. They paid $100 million in gas fees. That's $100 million that could have stayed in their community and pumped price. But instead, it's going to miners, and what are they going to do it? Blow up the environment. Good job, guys, you idiots. Like, Pulsechain solves this. So we don't have proof of work. We use proof of stake, which, by the way, is what Ethereum 2.0 is trying to get to, but we're going to beat them to market with it. I mean, we're very close. We're very close to launching. Testnet's been running good for months. So we remove the negative price pressure of miners dumping to pay for electricity, remove the environmental harm. Instead of paying miners a block reward, we pay validators 75% of the fees, and the other 25% get burnt. So it's deflationary. There's no inflation to pay validators. They only get 75% of the fees. The other 25% gets burnt. And so the more transactions that happen, the more positive price pressure you get because you're reducing supply. You're just burning 25% of all the fees. Now you get higher throughput, which also, so the transactions are 3-second blocks instead of 13-second blocks. So you've got 4 times the throughput just for block times, but you can also have higher gas limits as well because you've got less validators and they don't have to coordinate over so many nodes. And you have stronger nodes on average because there's less nodes, et cetera. So you've got higher throughput, lower fees, world's largest free airdrop. When Ethereum 2.0 comes out, you're not going to get any free coins. But when Pulsechain comes out, you're going to get a copy of all of your coins that you have on Ethereum network on the Pulse network for free. You don't have to do anything. You click one button, your MetaMask pops up, says you want to change networks. You click yes, you're on the new network. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything. Everything just works. You might have to add an ERC20, like paste the address in there. And we've even got a tool that helps you do that. So what else is awesome about it? Now, we've reduced the load on the Ethereum network, and you don't have to use bridges. So let's talk about bridges. $600 million was lost to the Axie Infinity hack bridge. Mm-hmm. $300 million was lost to the Solana wormhole bridge hack. $6 billion was at risk in the Polygon bridge, but they caught it before anyone used it. There's like roughly $1 billion, let's say, of money lost to bridge attacks. In our system, you don't have to use the bridge because you already have your coins on the other side because you already got them for free. Now, if you want to bridge over, you can, but you don't have to. It's a superior design system. And let's say another thing about Ethereum 2.0 that's trying to do proof of stake, but they're doing it improperly. They're rewarding centralization. They're rewarding you giving your keys to someone else. $100 million of Ethereum users gave their keys to some company, Fireblocks. Fireblocks lost the keys. They lost $100 million of people's money that were supposed to be staking for Ethereum 2.0 because in Ethereum 2.0, there's no delegation. You have to have 32 ETH to become a validator, and you have to run your own server hardware. And if your server's ever offline, you lose money. Oops. Hope you like being a system admin. And so what does everyone do? They give their ETH to someone else. And what does that person do? They lose the keys or they steal the money. And so Ethereum
it's not decentralization. It's not
the opposite.
Decentralization at all.
In our system, it's delegated. You don't have to give your keys to anyone. You just delegate. And then if you don't like who you delegate it to, you change to somebody else. You hold your keys. Nobody else. It's perfect.
I have a question for you. So what if Ethereum dies? What happens to Hex?
Oh, it goes to
what
zero.
happens to Pulsechain?
It all goes to zero. Well, I mean, actually, it doesn't all go to zero because Pulsechain. Well, I mean, what if someone shot me in the head during a live stream? I'd be dead. These questions are very stupid. But I'll try and answer them seriously anyway. If Ethereum died, Pulsechain would probably be even more valuable
Well, the reason why I ask these questions, hold on a second. The reason why I ask these questions is because I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world.
Oh, sure.
And
Okay.
a lot of my audience is not the most
Yeah.
tech savvy people.
Yeah.
And most people in the world are not tech savvy. So it's important for me to ask sometimes to break
Yeah, sure.
these
Yep.
complex ideas down in a very, very simple to understand way so people can come back and they can say, okay, this makes sense to me now. So that's why I ask these types of questions. That's why
Yeah,
I
if
always ask these
if the
types.
Ethereum network goes down, then you can enjoy your coins on the Pulsechain network. If the Ethereum network and the Pulsechain network goes down, go make them work again. Like I mean, failures in blockchain projects are often just pauses. So you very rarely see everyone just lose all their money, their coins. You'll see people lose the US dollar value of their coins. That happens a lot, but you will not see people just like lose their coins usually.
Okay.
For you to like lose your coins and for the network to stay down forever, you basically just need to get hacked and lose your keys, or fall for someone telling you that they're an admin and you need to give them your keys or whatever, your recovery seed words. And if you give them your recovery words, your recovery phrase, then yes, you're going to lose all your money. But other than that, like nobody just loses their coins. It never happens. Like it's extremely rare. I mean, very rare.
Well, unless somebody rug pulls.
Well, that's what I mean. You lose the US dollar value of your coins. That's very common, but you'll still have the stupid worthless coins. So you'll still have coins. They're just not worth any real money. So rug pulls are very common, sure. Yeah. Which is why I don't promote anything but stuff I built for the most part.
So is is Pulsechain is essentially a layer 2 solution for
Nope.
Ethereum?
No, it's a full-on copy of Ethereum. We're beating Ethereum 2.0 to market with their own feature set, except better. So,
But it's built on top of Ethereum.
nope, layer 1.
Okay.
Hex is built on top of Ethereum.
So is it its own blockchain?
Exactly. It is its own blockchain.
And I can use MetaMask with Pulsechain
Yes.
if I did decide to invest.
Absolutely. Yep. But you don't have to do anything. As a matter, like, just